take a closer look. It appears that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shots are fired.
On a warm June night, 16-year-old Aria Henry made a choice that countless teenagers make every summer. She slipped out of a friend's house to attend a party. It was an act of teenage rebellion, harmless in its intent. But by dawn, Aria would be dead, caught in a hail of gunfire meant for someone else. Her murder, captured entirely on surveillance cameras, would expose the cruelest truth about street violence. Sometimes the wrong person pays the ultimate price. And when those who know what happened choose silence over justice, that price becomes even harder to bear.
I never disrespect God, but wouldn't never understand how he can need her more than me and her mother needed at 16 years old. With that being said, she was loved, She can always be loved.
Take a moment to think about the young people in your life, your children, siblings, nieces, nephews, or friends. How would you guide them if they faced pressure to stay silent about something serious? What advice would you give to Ariah's family as they wait for answers? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective might help someone who's struggling with a similar situation right now. Reserve. Louisiana sits quietly along the east bank of the Mississippi River, a small, unincorporated community in Street John the Baptist Parish. Reserve seemed an unlikely setting for tragedy. But on June 1st, 2024, that peaceful reputation shattered. Aariah Henry grew up in Marrero, the only daughter among 4 brothers. Her father, Clarence, called her his princess. Her mother, Bianca Bridgewater, remembered her daughter's distinctive laugh, how it would start as a soft giggle and build into something louder, more joyful, impossible to ignore. Aariah was shy by nature, but those who knew her described a young woman with a gentle, generous spirit and a goofy sense of humor that could light up any room. At 16, Aariah was preparing to enter her junior year at East Street John High School. She had big dreams for someone so young. She wanted to join the United States Air Force and follow in the footsteps of her stepmother Destiny by becoming a nurse. She had a passion for fashion, spent hours perfecting her makeup and hair, and had a particular fondness for the color dark purple. But perhaps more than anything, Aariah loved to cook. She was always in the kitchen, experimenting with spicy dishes, crafting perfect pasta meals, making avocado egg toast for breakfast. Her father's favorite was her chicken pasta. Her brownies, he said, were perfection. Just days before her death, Aariah had gone shopping for groceries. She planned to cook chicken pasta for her family on Monday evening, a simple gesture of love that would never come to pass. Because by Monday, Aariah Henry would be gone, her life stolen by bullets that were never meant for her. Saturday night stretched into the early hours of Sunday morning. Aariah had told her parents she would be spending the night at a friend's house, a common arrangement for teenagers on the weekend. But, like so many young people testing the boundaries of independence, she made a different choice. She sneaked out to attend a party in a nearby neighborhood. It was the kind of teenage decision that parents dread but rarely imagine will end in tragedy. What happened next unfolded with a cold, calculated precision that surveillance cameras would later reveal in chilling detail. Aariah left the party as a passenger in a black Dodge Challenger. 5 other people were crammed into the vehicle, 3 adult men and 2 other underage girls. The group was heading home, likely exhausted and ready for sleep. Just after 2 o'clock in the morning, they pulled into a gas station, a typical stop for teenagers after a long night. They wanted snacks. It was such an ordinary moment, so beautifully mundane. But someone was watching. Surveillance footage showed a silver sedan, later identified as a 2015 Kia Optima, lurking in the darkness near the party. As the Challenger left and headed toward the convenience store, the Kia followed at a distance. While Aariah and her companions went inside to buy their snacks, The sedan waited, parked just beyond the light, hidden in shadows. The occupants were patient. They were waiting for the right moment. When the group emerged and piled back into the Challenger, they had no idea what was coming. For reasons that remain unclear, Aariah ended up alone behind the wheel as the car pulled out of the parking lot onto West Airline Highway. Perhaps the others had gotten out for some reason. Perhaps they were still gathering their things. What we know for certain is that Aariah was driving, and she was the only person in that vehicle. The moment the Challenger merged onto the highway, the silver Kia accelerated. It closed the distance quickly, pulling alongside the driver's side of Aariah's car. Then, of violence that lasted only seconds, gunfire tore through the early morning silence. Muzzle flashes lit up the darkness as multiple shots rang out. At least 4, possibly more. The gunmen didn't stop to confirm their target. They simply opened fire, then sped away, some of them still leaning out of windows, weapons visible even as they fled. Aariah was struck once, a single bullet to her hip. She managed to execute a sharp U-turn, desperately trying to reach help. The Challenger raced towards Street, James Parish Hospital in Lutcher, but by the time she arrived, it was too late. Aria Henry, just 16 years old, with plans to serve her country and care for others as a nurse, died from her injuries. Sheriff Mike Tregry of Street John the Baptist Parish didn't mince words when he addressed the public.
They don't deserve to be on the streets of St. John Parish or any street in our state or country. We have to get them. We have to capture them.
Brazen gunmen opened fire on a moving car early Sunday morning in Reserve.
Right now, I just need to find out who shot up this car and who killed this 16-year-old girl.
One of the parish's crime cameras caught the moment gunfire struck a car with 10th grade East St. John High School student Aria Henry inside.
We're just waiting for somebody to give us a little bit more than what we have so we can get this case rolling again. But right now, we're kind of at a standstill.
Sheriff Mike Trigg says the teen left a nearby party, getting into the car with 3 adult men and 2 other juvenile girls. Using more of the parish's camera system, deputies noticed a suspect gray sedan lying in wait.
Hiding in the darkness. When the car that the victim was in started moving, the suspect's vehicle followed them.
Surviving victims tell deputies they stopped at a gas station for snacks.
The suspect's vehicle parked in the darkness and waited for them to move again.
As their car was leaving Reserve, the suspect's car pulls up from behind. Several shots are fired and the suspects speed away. Gunmen still hanging out the windows. The car carrying Henry, shot in the hip by what deputies believe to be a rifle, makes a sharp U-turn, heading to the hospital where Henry died. Now investigators are looking for a lead.
The 3 adult males refused to cooperate with law enforcement at all. It wouldn't talk to us, wouldn't say anything. So everything we have right now is based on our technology and our crime cameras.
Those cameras led investigators to recover the suspect's car, hidden off a dead-end road. The car was reported stolen out of New Orleans in March.
You really have to know the area to park a vehicle back there, and they had it covered with a tarp.
Over the past 2 weeks, Trigg says there's been more criminal activity than usual.
They always say it takes a village to raise a child, but it appears the villagers are afraid of the children.
The sheriff hopes the St. John community can bring justice for the young girl.
The citizens out here know me. We solve cases very well. The citizens have been very helpful. They give us tips. They lead us in the right direction. That's what I'm asking today.
It was all there, recorded in stark digital clarity. Everything except the one thing they needed most, the identity of the shooters. Deputies traced the Kia to a dead-end road in Gramercy, where they found it hidden under a tarp. The car had been reported stolen from New Orleans back in March, months before Ariah's murder. Sheriff Tregger's frustration was evident. The silence from these men only reinforced his belief that Aariah was never the intended victim. She was collateral damage in someone else's conflict. The sheriff was almost certain that one or more of those 3 men had been the real target, and their refusal to speak suggested they knew exactly why they'd been hunted that night. But whatever street code or fear kept them silent, it meant that justice for Aariah would be infinitely harder to achieve. Investigators spoke with Ariah's teachers at East Street John High School. Every single one described her as a good student, a kind person, someone who never caused problems. There was no evidence whatsoever that Aariah had any involvement in whatever dispute led to the shooting. She was simply a young woman in the wrong car, at the wrong time, paying for someone else's choices with her life. The case reached out to the community through every available channel. Crime Stoppers offered a $2,500 reward for information leading to an indictment. The sheriff personally pleaded for tips, reminding residents that his office had a strong track record of solving cases with community help. He needed just one person to come forward with a name, a connection, anything that could break the case open. But as days turned to weeks, the investigation stalled. They had the crime scene, they had the stolen car, they had surveillance footage of the entire attack. What they didn't have were the shooters. Bianca Bridgewater, Ariah's mother, tried to make sense of a world that had suddenly become incomprehensible. The house felt different without her daughter's laughter building from a quiet giggle to something loud and beautiful. Clarence Henry's message to whoever killed his daughter was simple but powerful. Make peace with God. Get your life together. Turn yourself in. Despite his grief, he wasn't consumed by hatred. As of late 2024, no arrests had been made in Aariah Henry's murder. The case remained open, with investigators still hoping for that crucial tip that would break everything wide open. Sheriff Tregra continued to urge anyone with information to come forward, emphasizing that callers could remain anonymous and still be eligible for the reward. The message was clear. Someone out there knows who was in that silver Kia. Someone knows who pulled the trigger. Someone knows why that black Challenger was hunted through the streets of Reserve that night. If you have any information about what happened to Aariah Henry on June 1st, 2024, please contact Captain Brandon Barlow at the Street John Parish Sheriff's Office Criminal Investigations Division. You can also reach Crime Stoppers anonymously and still be eligible for a reward. One phone call could change everything. One person coming forward could bring closure to a family that has already endured too much.